Hello, and welcome to my excruciatingly detailed Gordon Freeman cosplay tutorial. In this part, we will be going over making the thigh armor. As is tradition, I started off using Bro Navarro's pattern. After assembling the pattern and trying it on my husband, it became clear that I would need to make some adjustments. My husband is 6'4", with most of his height in his legs. As such, I realized I would need to greatly increase the height of the thigh pieces, even though the pattern was a size large. And this is where we get this nasty looking pattern. I'm not skilled at modifying patterns, so it's a weird hodgepodge of taped scraps of paper to properly fit my husband's legs. It's not perfect, but it finally looked proportional on his body. Doing my best to follow the curves of the pattern, I drew out my seam lines and then carefully cut out my pieces. I'm still pretty rusty at estimating these properly, but I think I got close enough. After laying the main large side piece on my foam, I opted to separate it out into two pieces so I could make optimal use of my foam. Lastly, I patterned out the shape I wanted for the window, making sure to increase the overall size by 1 centimeter so I could latch it to the inner part of the armor. It was then time to trace. As per usual, I pinned down my patterns onto some 6mm EVA foam, drew on my registration marks, and cut them out using a hobby knife. Unfortunately, there isn't any footage of me doing the divots since I kinda cut my finger while doing it, and y'all don't need to see that. With my pieces ready to go, I applied some contact cement to the edges and then carefully lined up my registration marks to recreate the shape I had initially patterned out. I repeated this process as well with my window piece, completing the construction of the armor. After trying the piece on my husband again for fit, we decided to modify the design of the back portion of the armor. Whenever my husband tried sitting down, the top of this pseudo-triangle kept digging into the back of his knees. As a result, we chose to sacrifice accuracy for comfort, with me dremeling out a large curve in the back to give him more mobility. All that was left for me to do was hand sand my seams with 120 and 220 grit sandpaper, fill them in with foam clay, and sand them down yet again with 220 grit sandpaper once the clay had dried down. And here they are! I'm really proud of myself with how I was able to adjust the sizing of these on my husband. It was quite the journey, but I'm happy with how they eventually turned out. I also find it hilarious that just one of these is as big as my head. Could literally be a helmet for me. Be sure to come back next time when I tackle the boot covers. Bye!